watching Eric live on the air.
Sometimes that's not necessarily what's going to be on the radio, and we're not necessarily writing for radio.
Well, it's interesting though because we write all these songs and just kind of compile them, and some songs on the albums would start with one person's idea, and then a couple of the other songs are another person's idea, and when they group together, we end up having a lot of different elements on each album. So we've got the really hard songs, but still with a lot of melody. We've got the poppier songs. We've got the little bit more experimental, like ambient, what we call electronic rock songs, is Toynbee. And so, but what's interesting is as we record the albums, we've ended up kind of come to a conclusion about which ones are the best singles, and we just end up having some good singles on the albums. But we definitely don't plan out like, okay, this is going to be the radio single, this is going to be the pop song, this is, it just kind of ends up coming out where certain songs lend itself to certain venues.
And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people right now that will write the one song and then write a bunch of crap to put it on a record so they can sell the whole record, but really just sell the single. And we've been doing EPs, like short CDs. We're going on two, and I mean that's kind of my thought. We keep doing that. And really, that kind of puts more pressure on us to not throw in just some throwaway song where we're like, oh, this is track number 11, nobody's gonna care about it. If you only have 7 songs on a record, they better all be solid songs. So
we even had 2 songs that we were gonna put on here. We were gonna make this. Technically, the EP is 8 songs, but really it's 6 full-length songs with a 7th, 3-minute piano song. We were actually gonna have it be 9 songs, but in the end, we were like, we didn't want to have those songs that were obviously
didn't fit the record,
lesser quality and didn't fit the record, and so we axed them just so that you'd have 7 songs that we were proud of every single one equally.
Now I heard you guys say last night or 2 nights ago, whatever it was, that you thought that the first EP that you put out was more of like you just wanted to get a product out there so people knew your name, but you weren't as proud of it. Do you think?
I didn't say that.
we have a little bit of contention in the band about the difference in quality between the first and the second album. I think the first one was great. We recorded it within a few months of once we were fully formed, and so and we got a friend to mix it who's great, but I think what we gave him sound wise wasn't as good as what we got this time, and the songs were a little bit more rushed to put them together. So it's not that it was lower quality; it was just that we didn't have as much time to really hone in on what we wanted.
I agree. I think the quality of the work of the actual recording process is not as good as the second, and I think the product of the second CD is a much higher quality. But the songs, I think, the first CD are still, I think are the same level as the second CD. I do hope that we are progressing both production-wise and song-wise, forever. And I think we have, but I think some of the guys are quick to throw that CD away and be like, that was our first, piece of crap that we just threw together. But I'm still very proud of it, especially because at the time, we had nothing. We all had individual bands like college and stuff, but none of them were like serious. We're gonna do this, and so this one was like a huge attempt at saying, okay, we are serious. This is gonna be what we do, and we're not gonna compromise on what we're gonna put out there. And so I am incredibly proud of our first record, and I'm incredibly proud of our second record. And I just think it's like children that you can't like say this one's a smarter one. I love him better because he's gonna do better out there. Like I love them both because like the first one is it's maybe a little more raw. It's a little more like we tried as quick and as hard as we could to get something out there so people can know who we are. And the second one we had a lot more time to stew over it and be a little more calculated in how we approach it. So I often say, I don't want our fans to ever like know what's coming. I don't want them to say, oh, the next Manic Bloom CD is coming out. I'll bet it's going to sound a lot like the other ones. I want them to think, oh gosh, the next Manic Bloom CD is coming out. What are we in for? And so I'm really hoping that every single CD after this, we kind of blur the edges of what Manic Bloom sounds like.
Honestly, we've always said that's one thing we are really proud of in this band is that we have a lot of talented individuals in areas outside of just writing songs. So David is totally the go-to guy when it comes to graphics and web development. So he built our web page. We have a second website called deathandconversation.com that is a cool thing that we're doing where you can post your own eulogy and just kind of share it through Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. So David develops all that stuff. I do all the videos for the band, so it's twofold. It's nice. It's an excuse for me to not be not be in front of the camera because I'm always behind it. But I've learned how to do all this stuff like with Final Cut and editing and stuff. And then we've got Andy, who up until this point has been doing pretty much the majority of our booking. So he'll be the one talking to clubs and setting that up. And he's really, I wouldn't say OCD, but he's really organized. And so that's really good because he'll know times and setups and just all the whole gamut. There's a lot that goes into booking a show. And then Hildy is basically our resident producer. So we'll just kind of stick him in a room. We'll record the basics, and then he'll come up with all the beats and a lot of the string parts and the key parts and all that stuff that takes it from just a basic rock song to Manic Bloom. And then Brink's kind of our utility guy. So Brink will help us do a lot of promotion online.
It's incredible for us. We sent our CD to somebody in Texas to do a show there, and we ended up not doing the show, but they passed it on to a friend, and they passed it along to a friend who happened to be Corey Cotton.
Yeah, there's a group at Texas called Bucks, and they do this thing called Island Party. And so while trying to figure out who to have for this show for Island Party, they heard our music, and these guys do perfect. It's just a bunch of Texas A&M students. I guess most of them are graduates now, but they just filmed these crazy videos of them just making ridiculous basketball shots, throwing balls onto the roof and bouncing off the roof into the goal, just doing flips on trampolines while doing a behind the back shot, just crazy stuff. And
said a million ways, but just give up while you can. But you can keep your feeble phrase, and you can have all your connections.
It's funny because they put it on YouTube, and we were like, yeah, cool, somebody used our music.
And it had like 10,000 views.
And then it went up to like 7,000 and 10,000 views, and we were freaking out.
We were like, this is awesome. And we were pretty new at this point. Our CD had been out for like 6 months.
Yeah, and so then like as it was going up and up and up, it was starting to be like millions of views. We were freaking out. And then they put out a couple other ones. They used our music.
They didn't even ask us for it. Like the second time, they just came up with a new video and had another Manic Bloom song in it. We were like, this is awesome. And for the third one, they actually approached us and said, we're doing a video in a week. Can you guys get us something within this week? And we were like, okay. So we quickly recorded a much simpler version of Never Back Down for their third video. But it's cool because of that. We've been heard on Good Morning America, Regis and Kelly, ESPN, just all sorts of stuff because they've been getting tons of attention.
And I mean, they are a true viral sensation, online. So I have to use like Google Translator to respond to people. And I think it's because they have such like an international audience that they're bringing in people from all over the world.
For example, we now have a rather active Russian fan club.
Yeah.
They'll go around the Kremlin and go around Moscow, just like spray painting Manic Bloom symbols and names all under the sidewalks and putting up flyers and posters and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
They're awesome. So Anya,
So
all of you guys, We love you guys.
Rock on the RFC.
3 of us went to Texas A&M. That's where we met, and the 3 of us headed up to Nashville to complete the lineup for the band. And that's where we met David and Andy.
Yeah, so how did you meet them?
Craigslist. We literally we had a few songs like instrumental recorded, and we just posted like links to the songs on a little MySpace we created, and we spent almost a year looking for a singer. And
I was looking for a job. I was looking for a job in a studio. I was working at a record label. And, that's just I'm not a business, music business guy. I really like the recording and the music process. So I was searching online for places to work in the studio and came across their thing because they said something about how they wanted somebody that could possibly record or knew where they could get some studio time or whatever. I emailed them and I was like, I don't know if I'm what you're looking for. I don't know what I'm looking for because I wasn't looking for a band because it kind of let the dream dwindle. We met, we hit it off, it was great,
then we found Andy pretty quick. Honestly.
Yeah.
We decided to go for the singer first because we knew that'd be harder, and but then once we found David, we started posting for bases
on Craigslist.
I would say we want to do this full time.
Oh, I'm not gonna say we want to do this full time. I'm gonna say in a year from now
We will be.
We will be doing this full time. We probably won't be making lots of money. We probably won't be making hardly any money, but we're gonna be touring and playing music and doing whatever we can to be focused on Manic Bloom and whatever whatever surrounds that. For day of show, I mean, it's different wherever we're going. It's just getting there. A lot of times, people have a load-in date or whatever. So I don't know. It's not really glorious. It's not exciting at all. It's just we get to the place wherever they want us to load in. We might sound check or eat or whatever.
We're a pretty punctual band, so what happens a lot of times is the venue will tell you everyone load in at 5.
And we'll be
The
there
show
at
starts at
4:45.
8, and we'll get there at 4:45, be ready to go, and other bands will show up at 6:30. And so, we'll be sitting around for a while, and then because of that, you end up not getting a sound check because the other bands didn't show up on time, and so it's the day of show is pretty normal and nothing interesting. But then leading up to the show, you basically get the last minute stress of trying to figure out where the equipment's going to go on stage. Are you backlining, all that kind of stuff, and then are you going to get a sound check? Okay, it turns out your sound check is going to be the 10 minutes before you play.
Or really just a full of line check where they figure out to make sure all the signals coming through the microphone. And there is no mix.
They'll build your mix as you play the show.
The good thing is his brother Brad is our sound guy for most shows. Anytime that he's available to go, he goes. So we are incredibly confident in the fact that our sound will sound pretty consistent on every show just because he's a very confident and confident engineer, and so we don't have to worry about that part.
Since we have keys, if we just had the house sound guy, a lot of times they'll mix the keys like to where you don't really hear very much. And keys are really just an important part of our sound, and then also we use a drum loop, and that is important for a lot of the things that we do. And so sound guys a lot of times won't have that very audible. So it's good for us to have a sound guy that comes with us because he knows what level things should be, and because without those two things, we sound a little bit more like a standard rock band. If you don't have the keys with loops.
Not to say we're not like a standard rock band, but I feel like
just the guitar, bass, drums.
Yeah,
vocals.
I think that's the thing that makes it interesting. If we're interesting at all, you decide. But yeah, otherwise we would be just a standard like garage, run of the mill band. We put the keys in there. The way that we have them in there, like Jeff is a very good piano player, and so a lot of times we have him playing